I'm looking at your question.
All right, good afternoon. Tell us your name and the kind of career that you have chosen to pursue.
Um, Good afternoon. I'm Joe Berninger, and I am a nonprofit organization executive director.
Boy, that's a wide field.
And in my particular area, my organization helps teach kids to read, make sure they get technical skills to get jobs, and assures that they graduate from high school in Guatemala, Central America.
Guatemala. So tell us how in the world you got into a position like that. Tell us about your education and how you ended up. Are you in Guatemala right now?
I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio right now, which is our U.S. office.
I
We're,
see.
we're 15 in Cincinnati, and we are 46 in Guatemala.
Very nice. Well, give us a little bit of a pathway of how you got to where you are now.
So my education is in the liberal arts. So my big passion was European history, and so I took history classes, theology, philosophy. I have a master's degree in comparative religions, so I am a liberal arts guy in every way. And nonprofit is full of people like me.
But,
So I
Joe, Guatemala is not in Europe.
yeah, yeah. Latin American history would be in the interest area also.
Okay.
And all of Latin America at one time or another were colonies of European countries. So lots of links then and now, and which is why Spanish, a European language, is spoken in most of Latin America today. Um, Although in Guatemala there are 24 languages spoken, which is really cool and interesting. You have lots of different
Wow.
cultures and people coming together there. Um, but when I look to hire people, I look for people that have an educational background similar to mine. In that, my development director was a history major. Two or three of my staff were history or English or arts majors. Um, so for people that my advice to people that are in school today is follow what you love. So find those classes that you take them and you're reading your book on the weekends for fun. You're thinking about what was talked about in class in the evening and in the shower and on the weekends. Um, Take a variety of classes and follow and take more of what interests you, what you're thinking about. And I'm a big believer in do what you love and the money will follow. So and that's what I've always done. I've always simply followed and studied and educated myself in what interested me, what turned me on, what I look forward to going to class to learn. I did not think at all about practicality. you
Now, Joe,
my mom and dad, I can't
I'm
tell you
sure
like,
they were worried about
oh, they
it.
were worried. They were, I mean, that's what people ask even today, and back then the same thing. What are you going to do with that? Joe, what are
Yeah,
you going to do with a history major?
yeah. Now, you're an executive director and you oversee a rather large staff, an international staff. You have any business background? How
Oh,
do you become qualified to become an executive director of a nonprofit?
so I did get a business minor at Xavier. So I got a chance to study at least like 101, 102 level classes in like economics,
Yeah.
accounting. So if you're going to do anything in business, even in nonprofit, you want to take a couple of accounting classes and understand how money works, understand like in my role, you have to know what a balance sheet is. You have to know what an income statement is. You have to just debits and credits. You have to just know the basics. Um, so the business minor has been good. And since I work in international nonprofit, language skills are good. So from high school on, I studied Spanish and I use it every day in my work today. So I think the younger you are, the easier it is, obviously, to learn a foreign language. I tell my own kids who are in high school and college right now, um, you'll go twice as far with half the effort at this point in your life. If you,
Yes.
if you wait till you're 40 to start studying, like a lot of people do, you're going to have to work a lot harder and you'll never get as far. You
Now,
lose that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you lose that plasticity in your brain.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
I agree with
go
that.
ahead.
Do you travel a lot with your job since you have two offices in two different countries, continents almost?
Yeah, I have to go down 4 or 5 times a year, so I go down about once a quarter, and my job is to be the connector. So I find uh, people that I think would greatly benefit in their own lives from getting out of their comfort zone, getting out of their world, getting out of the boxes that we all think in, and plunging them into a different experience, a different culture, different language, different place. And through that, let them kind of discover like what their gifts are, what their talents are, and how they can like make a better difference out there in the world. And that's better done away from home. When you're in a position where you're looking at your life from the outside. So I go down and I take groups of people. I probably take 200 people down a year, either me or somebody on my staff. And that's how I got connected to this Rotary Club. And I'm a proud Rotarian, thanks to Jim Hunt, who's recording the call, and Sue Hunt recruited me on a Rotary trip. And I've been a Rotarian now for at least 6 years, and all because of the connections through those trips.
Now, you had said that you really had no idea of which direction you would end up going. I don't know if people go into college thinking that they're going to run a nonprofit. I suspect there are people that think that. Um, but how would one know if the nonprofit world is good for them? And how might it be different than the for profit world? What are the big differences? Can you just tell us
Yeah,
generally?
yeah. So that's an easy one in a certain sense, in that in nonprofit, your work has meaning in terms of making the world better. So you deal with a lot of things that aren't as good. You don't get paid as well. You don't get as good of benefits. You're not going to have as nice of an office. You're not going to be working in as nice a part of town. So you lose on that side, but you get paid back, and to me, in a much bigger way, which is every day you can see that the work you're doing, you work an extra hour in the day, a kid gets to go to school, a kid learns to read, a kid learns how to use a computer that's going to get them a job. Um, so you see that meaning in your work. Um, when I wake up in the morning, I'm a little bit excited about what I'm going to do today,
I
and
actually want you to
that's worth
share,
everything.
I would like you to share an example of like a highlight of your job, an example of the impact that your organization has had on someone.
So it, an impact.
An impact story.
One of the most fun things about my job is to go to Guatemala and watch kids graduate from high school, who are the first in their family to ever have that opportunity, who have a mom and dad that's standing with them in the pictures who can't read. And that kid, so mom and dad may have zero education or maybe 1 or 2 years at most. And then there's a kid that's completed 12 years, first in their family graduating from high school. And then now we're seeing more of those kids and more going on for university graduations. So a girl that I've had a relationship with in terms of sponsorship for about 20 years now just graduated from the university with a 5-year degree 2 weeks ago.
Ah,
So,
nice.
so it's like it's real stark. In locked in the cycle of poverty on one side, with that powerful tool of education, out of poverty on the other side, solidly middle class. These kids graduate, and within a few years, they're making oftentimes twice as much as their parents. And it
Yes.
breaks them out of that cycle. Without an education, your labor is worth about $8 a day in Guatemala. With an education, it's worth more than twice that.
That's fantastic. So I'm sure there are young people watching this video who really feel called to a career of purpose, that they want to work in the nonprofit world. How would you suggest that they get started? I know you said to follow the classes that they super love, but what else can they do other than the schooling and being dedicated to their studies? Are there ways to become exposed to the realms of this massively huge market?
You can take classes in, usually in most universities are called like public policy classes.
Okay.
So public policy master's degrees or public policy majors would be to get an education in what we do. So in those programs, they'll give you some really practical pieces of what it takes to be a leader in nonprofit. For example, they'll go through the 990, the nonprofit tax return, so you understand all those different pieces. They'll give you some of the accounting parts of that. They'll educate you in some of the basics of fundraising. What makes people give money? Like 100% of what we spend, we have to raise. So it's 100% comes from donations, and there's a science behind how to get people to give to your cause, and they'll learn that kind of thing. So public policy, nonprofit management classes, some universities have those, and they certainly are not going to hurt. But if you graduate without those and still want to go into nonprofit, then you can. You just have to learn more along the way. What we do is we are connectors. So communications, people with really strong communications background, that's another great feeder into us. Everything is about communicating, working in partnership with other people. I tell my staff all the time that I believe our power as humans is our cooperative power. And our organization is called Cooperative for Education. So our power is our cooperative power. It's like Rotary. You pull a whole bunch of people and focus them on a common cause, and you can move mountains. So what does that take? That doesn't really take an educational background or a nonprofit like studies background. It takes communication skills and connecting skills.
Yeah,
And
and
that's why I
you
love
said
liberal
follow
arts.
your heart. Like I'm thinking that if you can get involved in volunteer opportunities in your community and see what types of things really are your heart and mind, what are you really behind, and pursue volunteer type things as a young person, I think
Yeah,
all that is count as real experience, isn't it?
yeah. That's a super good point. And we don't hire anybody who doesn't have that history in their
Oh,
resume.
wow.
So
Really?
we'll ask them like, what have you done, or what do you do for give back service? Because if they haven't done anything at all up to now, it sometimes seems a little weird that suddenly right now they want to have their life make a meaning. Like usually, if people want that, they've demonstrated that in some aspect of their lives.
But what does that look like? Like, what would someone give the young people some ideas of volunteer opportunities that could help them?
So I think every community has opportunities to do really direct hands-on service. Like I volunteer at our homeless shelter down here in Cincinnati, and I serve a meal once a month, and that's a super good time. All the guys coming from the streets, and you serve them their lunch. Um, Most high schools have a community service club. Universities have that club also. My son's at Ohio State, and he works with disadvantaged kids, autistic kids, and so forth, and does sports with them.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of looking and seeing where the opportunities are. If anybody's members of churches or Rotary, of course, there's all sorts of pathways for young people to get involved in service in that area. Our organization takes volunteers. So it takes just looking out there. If you Google volunteering in and then put your city, all kinds of stuff will come up.
That's a great idea. All right. Is there anything else you want to say? I think what you do is so incredibly important, and I'm so glad that you're part of our club. Is there any last word that you would like to offer that we didn't
Um,
cover?
I think for young people to be really clear as they go into high school and college that your goal in life is to be happy, is to be satisfied, and you get that by giving back to others ultimately. So in finding how your unique gifts, whatever they are, and everybody has different ones, and that's the beautiful thing. Every person has a different, unique set of gifts. How those can plug in and make the world better, either through nonprofit or even just in your family and community in any way. Finding how that works best, how you can connect your gifts to the needs, is what your goal is in life. It's not having a big career. It's not making a lot of money. It's not a lot of the things that we pursue for happiness anyway. And I believe that we have a barometer inside us that pulls us toward what will get us in that giving role. And that's why I say follow that when you're a young person. Follow, take the classes, pursue the jobs, do the things that you feel that pull toward. It's usually a binary. You're jumping across a stream rock to rock and you can't see three rocks ahead. You can only see the one right ahead. But we have an internal barometer that tells us which way to jump. And it's what attracts you, what interests you, what you're passionate about. And stay with that, and everybody will find their way eventually if they're pointed in the right direction. Some people say, I've heard this quote, that success without satisfaction is the greatest failure in life. And that comes from climbing a ladder to the wrong, leaned against the wrong wall, right? And a lot of us do that. I spend a lot of
Yes,
life pursuing, thinking stuff's going to make us happy, that doesn't.
that's true. Well, we're really thankful for your time. If there's someone that should watch this video at some point in the future and wants to talk to you, would they be able to communicate with you through our website to get some questions answered?
Absolutely, Chris. I am happy to talk to anybody who's interested in coming into the nonprofit field.
Oh, we would love that too. Thank you so much for all you do. Thanks for your time today and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Chris. You too. Big
Thank
hug to
you.
you. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.